Hey guys, what's up? This is Evie here, and we're here with another character drill. Now, I didn't do one on Wednesday or Friday, but no, I just want to make something different. Now, we got Patrick Roscoe McCarthy. This is one of my least favorite characters, not just to make, because I actually like making him, but he was also hard to fight. Let's go! Born in Delhi at April 14, 1989, Patrick Roscoe Drifter was a friendly kid and nephew to a longtime uncle, no, Payne Kareem Drifter. So, yeah. So they actually are family, related by blood, not marriage, as you predict. So, you learn what I mean by a second. After learning to deal and fight from his uncle, Patrick uses his new skills to his advantage. Beating up a few bullies at school and process. After Payne moved to the U.S. with his gang, Patrick still stayed in Naples until he got posted about Redwood Corporation, a highly profiled mercenary organization. At the age of 24, he moved from Delhi to the U.S. to both change his surname, his last name, to McCarthy and join the organization. After finding the location, Patrick was trained by Martin Angelo, the CEO or Chief Executive Officer for short of Redwood Corporation. Highly experienced and highly trained, Patrick worked his way up from a rookie to a lieutenant throughout his advancing years. With Angelo killed by the Berserker trio, Patrick managed to take over as commander in charge of operations. So basically, he took over. So that's his backstory. His personality. Now, Patrick was a ruthless mercenary commander obsessed with the toppling of the Berserker Club, which he declared weak and pathetic, which I think is not true. Among his main facades, a man who fought in revenge for his uncle's death was perhaps Patrick's most delusional due to his brutal and self-obsessed nature. In reality, Patrick is a complete warlord who will not hesitate to kill anyone who happens to be a possible threat towards his goals. He seems to be extremely violent and cold-blooded towards his fellow mercenaries, even killing them in a gruesome way to get his point across. So there was an example where he breaks his soldier's neck, twisted it around, even cuts it off to prove to his men that they fell again, he would put their heads on a pike. Like so. As a strong believer in Hinduism, Patrick didn't fear death due to the idea that everything was replenished and born anew. Even if he risked his own life, he didn't even care if he died. This explains a lot of concern over death while finding Jay on a container containing a nuclear warhead, which are heading towards Evie's objective, going to a warehouse. Even though Patrick's insanity at this point could have been a factor in this regard. Even his final words were an insult to those who beat him in the past. This highlighted his truly sadistic nature behind a polite disguise that ultimately cracked. So he was just a ruthless, cold-blooded terrorist, pretty much. Evie wanted to prevent that from happening. So congratulations for Evie saving our lives. According to a profile read by E.B., he was an Italian-American male with short brown hair and a thick beard. I read his parents for newcomers, though. Nicknamed the Italian Brute by E.B., he had a muscular physique, so he was freaking ripped. He was just one beefed up mofo, pretty much. While hunting for E.B., he wears a brown button-up shirt, green cargo pants, most likely your hiking pants, tan combat boots, a shoulder holster, and glasses, just to make him look harmless, pretty much. He also removed his shoulder holster and wears a tan vest over his shirt. After his encounter with EB, he wears a blue t-shirt, green cargo pants, black combat boots, and a black puffer vest with the sleeves cut off. While buying a new in Russia, he wears combat attire, like a combat sweater, black cargo pants, black boots, even gloves, along with a winter jacket and a geek cap just to, Russia is cold out there, pretty much. So you don't want to be in winter time without no jacket. It'd be like, brr. So that was his appearance, pretty much. Weapons. As a sidearm, Patrick carries a Colt Golden Cup National Match Mark IV Series 70 pistol chamber and 45 ACP. He normally used the gun to try to kill EB, but failed when one of my friends, Julius, managed to shoot one of his soldiers. He turns around, I managed to pick the gun out of his hand, pretty much disarm him, and engage in hand-to-hand combat. Like most of the mercenaries, he used an M4A1 carbine rifle as a primary weapon. He normally uses his gun in Russia, pretty much, when I managed to show and kill most of his suppliers and his mercenaries. He used a Special Operations Group machete as his backup weapon. He normally uses to chop off his own leg, right? I managed to beat him up. His right leg was pinned to like a military-grade bomb, not a nuclear warhead, but just a bomb. Like, as soon as I turn around, he grabs the machete, chops off his leg, and as soon as I turn around and look back, and I saw blood, he clotheslines me and tries to stab it with a machete. But I turn it around, stab him in the chest with it, pretty much. After surviving his encounter, after losing his Colt in the plane crash, he now carries a Browning high-powered pistol chamber 9mm as his sidearm. He loses the gun after a fight with EB. So that's pretty much for his weaponry. Skills and abilities. During his time with the mercenaries, Patrick had been highly trained with guns, grenades, knives, even learned how to use an anti-personnel carrier. Highly experienced with various martial arts such as judo, taekwondo, and mixed martial arts, Patrick was brutal and efficient in hand-to-hand combat, easily overpowered EB and his guys, fighting him as a cohesive unit. Patrick was gritted and controlled fighting stance, come across as barely held together. His sadistic and violent tendencies just simmering beneath the surface. It ends until the finale where he was back up against the wall that Patrick just bears down on EB with full strength. Patrick was not only a brute, but he was also a grimly intelligent person. He was easily able to convince and manipulate people into getting what he wants, from manipulating his men into helping him, to perfectly setting up a war that was close to occurring. Patrick was a dedicated mastermind who nearly succeeded with his goals. Along with this, Patrick has vast amounts of money that he was able to spend on reliable resources in order to make his goals even more likely to be successful. He was also greedy, though, just as a fact. This was shown when he obtains back his money that EB stole from him, only to sell it to the Russians in exchange for a nuclear warhead. So pretty much he is able to persuade people, and he just extremely smart, though. He was like the first villain that ever outsmarted EB. So yeah, that's pretty much it for skills and abilities. Now, there is a lot I'm going to say about Andy, but I'm going to shorten this up for you. Now, at first attempt failed. He took back the money, and he goes Russia to buy the nuclear warhead. EB found out, however, and he just kills his men, knocks Patrick out, and we just hooked up nuclear warhead and flew back to the States. Patrick was angry, though. He was angry that his plans were going to fail, so he climbed up the container, beating the crap out of me, and then we engaged to hand-to-hand combat, pretty much. Even though he had the upper hand in the fight, I managed to knock him out by getting the best of him. I used my brain and then my strength, pretty much. So I duck and dodge, hit him the right box, knock him out. That was pretty much it. We went back to America, went back to Georgia, landed chopper. I was disarming the thing, right? I managed to disarm it. Soon later, he turns around and strangles me. Both my friends, we shot off his hand. He actually turned around and grinned, so it gave me an opportunity to kick him right in the mouth and just beat like crap at him. So One of them also shoot a container, so I made sure kick him in the crotch, low blow, jump out of the way, and as soon as he looked up, he like, aw man, he got glitched, pretty much. So he actually would crush to death, pretty much. So he didn't get killed by me. So some of my friends actually killed him. So in conclusion, Patrick would actually crush to death, and he was killed by my friends, pretty much. Was the first villain that would ever be killed by my teammates, rather than this guy here.